Hello, I'm Joel Blackboard with Beth Hassett Sabbath Fellowship. Thank you for joining us. We're virtual only, based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. The phone number works if you'd like to contact us. We do the thought behind the thought, the philosophy of eschatology, what you need to know, your reality, our existence. We're working on solving little pieces of Revelation each week. This is Revelation 13, 7 through 10, which would be stalking the holy ones. It's going to occur. We're talking about the fullness. We call it Meloha Goyim, and I'll explain that to you. Don't worry. I'll go through the verses at the end. It's not the Abraham Accords. It's Meloha Goyim, which would be the fullness of the Gentiles and how that fits into prophecy. So we'll go through it today. The main thing is devastation right now. Trump has devastated Iran and other countries that would cause problems around Israel. And Israel obviously did some heavy lifting too. But between the two of them, Bibi and Trump, they devastated. And so the next thing up will be the Abraham Alliance or the Abraham Accords or whatever you want to call it. And there's going to be a strong impetus to get this moving forward. So what's going on? Well, Trump and Netanyahu drafted a plan for Gaza ceasefire, Abraham Accords expansion, other things like that. Under the plan, Egypt, the UAE, and two other Arab states would govern Gaza. Interesting. Hamas leaders would be exiled, hostages freed, reconstruction led by international donors, displaced Palestinians would be offered immigration options. The Abraham Accords would extend to countries like Saudi Arabia and Syria, alongside a broader diplomatic push to increase ties between Israel and other Muslim nations. This is prophetic. And so this bumper sticker, I'm kidding, it's a billboard, was posted in Tel Aviv on 6/25 of 25. Very interesting. But once again, the video is about Meloha Goyim. We'll get there, don't worry. So we're doing the thought behind the thought. We do the philosophy. We try to give you the Bible, the prophecy, the fake news. Keep in mind that most of the guys that do what I do that I respect are saying we're coming into the phase of peace and prosperity of some sort, and then we'll come into the sudden destruction. So the interesting thing is that eschatologists are aligning on what's going on, and they're kind of giving you the truth, even if they're, pushing some other type of a rapture quick type of an out. No, right now, just watch how things move through. We're getting very biblical. Watch the new moons. We just had one on the 26th, and the full moon coming up in July. It'll be interesting, okay? Every new moon and full moon will be very interesting. So Trump, Iran's nukes, totally devastated. And there was Jennifer from Fox that was saying, oh, this isn't fair. You can't say that I did a horrible job. Well, guess what? You did do that because you wanted to cite the bad citations that said that Iran was okay and they, the sites were poorly blasted. And no. Our military and the Israeli military did an amazing job. They obliterated the sites. The B-2 pilots did a great job. And then they're going to pick out and say, well, you didn't say girls with the boys. They're always looking for the Nancy negatives. And so fake news reporters from CNN and New York Times and the Fox lady, Jennifer, should be fired immediately. Bad people with evil intentions. Because why can't you get behind Trump? Why do you have to hate him so much? Never Trump. He's part of prophecy, people. God has him here for a reason. So, letter to the Atomic Energy Commission of Israel states that the devastating U.S. strike on Fordo destroyed the site's critical infrastructure and rendered the enrichment facility totally inoperable. Okay, so they might have been able to get some nuclear material out, but the system is broken now for probably 10 years. Okay, so that's the 25th and the 26th of this month. And so, yeah, whine all you want, but Trump is part of prophecy. So just deal with it, okay? So Trump forces global pivot. That's what's occurring. But maybe God is giving him the ability to get it done. He doesn't have to be perfect. Was Jacob perfect? No. Was Abraham perfect? No. He handed his wife over to Pharaoh. There were mistakes made. King David, there were mistakes other than Yeshua. Everybody made mistakes, okay? So, almost everybody. So the point is that he's the White House cowboy. Yeehaw. He's devastating other people. And this is from Daniel Pike, so I'll cite it better in a moment here. But Haller, I stole this from him today. And so instead of rumors of wars, it's wars of rumors. Thank you, Haller. That was a good quote. So the main thing is we're watching Trump devastate the world and cause peace. This is biblical. This is from Daniel Pipes. So this is just from June 28th. What just happened? 12-day wars, 12 surprises. 1, White House cowboy succeeded. Yeah, yeehaw. Trump won. Okay, he's right. So give him his credit. Let him have his Nobel Peace Prize, whatever it takes. But this is what God wants to occur right now. He wants this weird time of peace. I'll show you the verses. It's Ezekiel 38:11 and 1 Thessalonians 5:3. You know the verses. Washington preempted a potential nuclear enemy. 3, Americans can still lead. Yeah, we can. We don't have to be wimps all the time. We don't need to be beta males. Nobody likes a beta male. Okay. A partisan Washington-Jerusalem bond. That was nice to see. That's 4. 5, a quick, decisive American Middle East success. Yeah, nobody died from our side. Okay. We'll show you the slides. Don't worry. You'll see that some people died on the other side. Alarmists made wrong predictions. Yeah, great. Got them caught. Air power won the day. Pre-placed agents changes the battlefield. Israel dominates. Israel's Gaza failure. Performative war replaced real war. Tehran attacked an ally. War has changed, and so Pipes is stating that. Trump changed. The American military did a great job. The Israeli military was incredible, but blessed by God. Okay? And I'll show you another slide where it's like literally we're so much superior to anybody else in the world, NATO, Israel, us, that Russia and China are cowering. Okay, so Iran nukes badly damaged. Yes. So this is coming from France 24 and Israfan, and they're dated pretty recently here. So this is the 25th of June and the 27th of June from Israfan. IDF details devastating blow to Iran's nuclear and missile programs. France 24 again, Iran's nuclear facilities were badly damaged. Then they come back with Israfan later on saying, revealing briefing on Friday, IDF spokesperson Brigadier General Effie Defreen outlined a full scope of Israel's military campaign against Iran's nuclear and missile infrastructure. The details confirm what many had suspected. Israel delivered a comprehensive and preemptive blow to Tehran's most dangerous ambitions. So you can deny it all you want. You can hate Trump all you want. It doesn't work prophetically. This needed to occur, and so these intelligence reports are coming out now proving that they've knocked out all of these men, okay, from Iran. Devastating. That's the word of the day, devastating. Devastating in Iran, okay? Once again, I borrowed this from Haller. I watched the show earlier today. Devastating. There's one guy laughing because he's going to pop back up again, but right now, the boot is on top of Iran, okay? They're embarrassed. And when they see something like this, and this is from Khomeini media, that the Zionist regime is practically knocked out and crushed under the blows of the Islamic Republic. No, it's the other way around. Okay, and so there's their death thing with the Jewish Star and other death things this is all from Iran, okay? But their eschatology was devastated. They have a tight eschatology. This is going to force us into the Gog scenario where Gog is the leader, coming from Magog and coming from those nations that are more Sunni, okay, to attack Israel at a later date. Iran is a minor player, but they'll be in it. It's just that they can't be a major player anymore. So their eschatology is being bashed, and their Mahdi isn't there at all. Now, their Mahdi is kind of the guy that's smiling in the middle there, number 44. Okay, so Trump's new peace plan deals everywhere. He's got deals working this way, that way, everything like that. Give him some credit, people. Stop hating him all the time. Trump says Gaza ceasefire will be reached next week. The J-Post, okay, this is from the 27th, and so Gaza final decision will be made in the second week of July 2025. Amazing. They're going to end the Gaza situation because they have the impetus now, okay? So this is a blessing. IDF chief says heavy blow against Iran creates potential to advance our goals in Gaza. Wow. So this is from All Israel News staff, dated June 28th, okay? You're not going to have World War III right away. Now, the never Trumpers of Tuckers and Candace, we really want World War III because that'll make us look smarter. No, you're stupid. You were wrong. You're on the wrong side of history. And so give Trump his credit. Scoop, Israel and Syria will sign a peace agreement before the end of 2025. Wow. Okay. And then down below, let's see. So that is I-24 News. Very interesting. So deals across the board, everywhere. Japan Times are saying Trump says he's going to get the conflict solved with North Korea. He's going to solve that too. He's got multiple fires that he's putting out, and he's not just putting them out. He's throwing water on everything so that we will have a time of peace. Okay, so this is North Korea, and he's a buddy with Kim. He thinks he can talk to him. So the conflict solved with North Korea. Trump told the reporters, "Yeah, I get along with him very, very well." Well, there you go. So, but still the four horsemen are riding. So remember, they're always in the background riding. So it's not like nothing's going to occur. It's just get ready for some weird things. So this is from the 28th. Yep. So he just solved a 30-year conflict between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. So he worked about 5 months. He's getting it done. I mean, basically, they came in Friday and signed off on it. So he's working on Russia and Ukraine. He solved India and Pakistan. He's solved the Iranian issue. He wants his peace prize. He does. And this is from the social media delinquent. It doesn't matter if you love or hate Trump. Give him some credit where he's doing a good job, because Biden did nothing. He just left. Yes, the four horsemen are still riding. Okay, I believe all four are. Okay, why now a Russian change of heart? Why would Putin say, well, maybe it's time to talk about peace with Ukraine? He doesn't need to. He's winning. He wants all of Europe. There's no doubt about it. He's going to get up and he's going to eat at some point in time. But he's talking about meeting in Istanbul, where Erdogan is still the leader for a period of time here, okay? But what I want you to see is something from last week from Dave, my friend Dave. Brilliant commentary on this. Also, the F-35 has shown exactly how superior it is to the Chinese, Russian, and Iranian air defenses. The disparity is so great that it wasn't even a fight. We didn't know exactly how big the gap was until Israel and Ukraine spent the last 5 years probing to figure out exactly. Every NATO country saw that what a cluster it was, and now they realize how behind China and Russia technology really is. By the way, every NATO country put in orders for the F-35. So Dave's right. And I didn't see that, but he's looking behind. This is from Reuters, that as of June 27th, Putin's saying, well, maybe we can talk peace. Okay? Amazing. So he's having a change of heart, and he doesn't need to, but there's this general feel, and maybe God's placing it on Putin's heart to just have some peace for a while. So, but you're always going to have some people that hate them, okay? This guy, great guy, David Keys, yeah. So he's saying, Trump and Israel just protected the world. How on earth can Israel claim for so long that Iran has been close to getting nukes? Because they've constantly put out little fires in Iran. They've caused all sorts of software issues over the years to just put them back. That's why it's always been close but never occurred. So why not just say thank you, Israel and Trump? Why not? So David Keys, again, on the right-hand side, President Trump just saved millions of lives. This was an incredible victory, protecting many lives, okay? They took out, I showed you the pictures, some top Iranian leaders, but they were wicked men. So, and really set back the scientific revolution in Iran for years there, because they took out those guys too. So David Keys, the Iranian regime will fall in 2 weeks. I don't know about that, because Iran is part of the Gog battle, okay? But Iran won't come back for about 10 years. They'll be able to fight, but they won't be able to lead the fight like we thought. And the real leader was pictured number 44. You saw him. So peace through strength, yes. How to win at peace, this is from The Economist. They're the globalists. We don't like them at all, but they're showing the dove, and its tail is a B-2 bomber. Yeah, peace through strength. The ghost of the skies. And so very incredible bomber, very incredible F-35s. I mean, and I'm not a big F-35 fan, but wow, they devastated the Russian air defenses. Wow. So, and this is just this week with The Economist. So there's peace plans working. Trump saying, make the deal in Gaza, get the hostages back. Donald J. Trump. Four horsemen are still riding. The Gog guy on the upper right-hand side is still fomenting, but they're working on the plan. I'll show you the other pages, because this is actually difficult to read. I clipped this from John Haller today, and I'm looking at it and thinking, let's just do it this way instead. So closing the front in Gaza, returning all hostages, establishing a technocratic transitional government in Gaza, and regionally getting rid of Hamas. Okay. Number 2, implementing and enforcing the agreement in southern Lebanon through zero violations policy. Yep, absolutely. They're already working on it today. Following the fall of Assad regime, harnessing regional forces to stabilize Syria and turn it into a buffer against the Iranian axis. Okay, fine. Number 4, deepening the moderate regional coalition, returning to a fast-track normalization with Saudi Arabia, and expanding the Abraham Accords. Sounds great. That's biblical. Implementing the blockade plan against Iran and preventing its nuclearization. Sounds great. An Israeli declaration of gradual, responsible, secure path of separation from the Palestinians within a decade as part of the comprehensive regional agreement. Sounds great. This is from the Coalition for Regional Security about the Abraham Shield Plan. There you go. So, John Aziz, it feels like we've reached an inflection point. British music festival goers are chanting death to the IDF. So it's still there, the hatred. So what you'll notice is the hatred will be pushed out from the region right around Israel. They'll have relative peace. I'll show you the verses, but it's going to be across the world. So this is Glastonbury 2025, celebrating peace, hope, and unity by hating the Jews and the IDF. Okay, so get ready for that. It's going to push out. It's going to be like stepping on poo when you're out walking, dog poo, and it squeezes out from underneath your foot. Okay, that's just the way it's going to be because the hate doesn't go away. It just moves. Okay, so this is Ron Cantor. I love what he does, but I don't like the fact that he's friends with Michael Brown up until just recently. But he's accurate here, so I'll cite him. Is Israel Israel? There is a country with this name Israel. The majority, 70 to 90% of the citizens' DNA proves they come from Israel. The country is within the historic borders of ancient Israel. There are 60 distinct passages that speak of the future restoration of Israel. The Bible says that they would return from the nations, and they did. Jeremiah 16:14 and other verses says there would be a mass exodus from a country north of Israel. In the 1990s, roughly 1 million Russian-speaking Jews came out of the former Soviet Union back to Israel. Hebrew was the dead language until the 1800s. Today, it's the mother tongue of millions of people in Israel. It's the seed of Abraham. It's Genesis 12:3. If Israel is not Israel, then it is the greatest coincidence in the history of the world. He cites Ezekiel 36:24, Amos 9:14 through 15, Deuteronomy 3:33 through 5, and many more. That's June 28th, so that's Ron Cantor. Yes, I have some issues with him, but he's correct here. Okay, so this is the voice of truth. So you still have these problems with the Arabs. You'll be driving down the highway and they'll just launch Molotov cocktails at you. So the hatred is being squished out. It will be squished away from directly next to Israel, but it will still occur. Don't be fooled. Always look for the whole truth. There will be the lies. The four horsemen are still riding. The Gog fellow is still going. It's just going to squish out across the world and not be there. And also, what's going to be amazing, I've just found it a few minutes ago, Ben-Gvir permits Jews to sing and dance across Temple Mount. Amazing. This is a miracle, people. This is June 27th, but I just found it. All right, I'll tell you where I found it. James Jacob Prash had it published on this video. And I don't usually support him because he's mean. He's brash. But in this case, he found this. And so it was really cool. Jewish visitors were permitted to sing and dance openly through the entire Temple Mount compound on Wednesday, following a policy directive issued by National Security Minister Ithamar Ben-Gvir. The development represents a dramatic change from past practice where Jewish prayer, even whispered on the Temple Mount, could lead to an arrest, detention, or being barred from the site for months. For decades, Israeli peace enforced strict limitations on Jewish religious expression on the Mount, citing security concerns and maintaining the status quo agreement with the Waqf, Islamic trust that administers the site. My policy is that singing should be allowed throughout the entire Temple Mount. Amen. Baruch Hashem. So that's JNS talking about this. And the main thing is this means the Waqf, which is Jordan, is weakening under this pressure. Okay. All these victories from Trump, this devastation is just devastating the Waqf. Okay. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be interesting, but it's going to push the hatred out further away from Israel as these things occur. The turning tide, how war and politics are setting the stage for mass Aliyah. So as it pushes out, as the four horsemen are riding, you're going to notice hatred across the world. So this is Israel 365 from Josh Wander, June 26th. Yep, so that's current stuff. In a striking convergence of recent events, the winds of history are beginning to shift. On one side, much of the Arab world is quietly confronting the reality that the dream of erasing Israel and reclaiming the land for a Palestinian state may finally, irrevocably, be slipping into the past. On the other side, Jews in diaspora, especially in America, are awakening to the uncomfortable truth that exile is no longer safe or sustainable, especially with the election of openly anti-Israel figures across the world, including Zohan Mani as mayor of New York, a city once seen as the bastion of Jewish life in exile. So, Zero Hedge is talking about it. Time to leave New York City. Kyle Bass urges Dan Loeb to embrace your inner Texas after Mamdani's socialist shockwave. Now, it's easier to call him a communist or a socialist, but he's bringing in an agenda. It's a political, it's a religious agenda, and that's what he's doing. So it's official hot commie summer. It's easier to just state it that way from Dan Loeb. Burqas from Chadwick Dalgos. White women in New York City embrace burqas ahead of Mamdani administration. That's obviously AI, but it's intriguing to see it. So that's Zero Hedge, and that's fairly recent. That's June 27th. For the first time in decades, the conditions are aligning for a mass movement of Jews back to the land of Israel. No longer can Jews tell themselves that their place is Paris, London, or Brooklyn, and no longer can Israel be seen as a temporary refuge or a political experiment. It is becoming what is always meant to be the only true home. Go home, people. Be safe. Go home. Don't be persecuted here. Okay? So Barron Trump, that's not actually him. Whatever. So anyway, breaking GPS data places Zohan Mamdani at Barack Obama's war room twice in 6 weeks. So there's a strategizing that's occurring between the probable mayor of New York and Obama. He's still fomenting all of these things. He's not going to stop. The war room is still existing, and it's right down the road in Washington, D.C., okay? Minutes from the center. You know what the center is, okay? And so just read it. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph. You can see what it is, okay? Most powerful man in the Democratic Party. And he's not acting alone. He's running operations, and the media refuses to report a single detail. Ask yourself why. That was the 5th last paragraph, okay? So keep in mind, he was sent to Egypt. So this potential mayor of New York was sent to Cairo for training in 2013, trained for years to play the part. You have to kind of learn how to speak. You can see that Biden didn't know how to do it. Kamala, come on, could she even put anything other than word salads out? Okay? Obama knew the speak. This new guy knows the word speak to be able to get elected. He knows how to sell it properly. Ted Cruz and others warned about this very plot. Okay, this is the Muslim Brotherhood. They made this guy look good, okay? Man went to Egypt for a coup. Everyone in New York City should be scared of this guy. Sectarian violence is on the way up, okay? So just get ready for it. So it's pushing Aliyah again, okay? Israeli minister warns European Jews to leave, cites rising Islamist influence from Israel 365. My friend there, Adam, love him. Belgium and the UK are largely fallen. They have fallen. Chickley declared during the interview, he warned that unless there's a dramatic political shift, both countries face being conquered by Islamists, okay? Radical Islamist elements have compromised the security and cultural fabric of the European societies, leaving Jewish communities vulnerable and unprotected. On the right-hand side, the J-Post says, time for Aliyah, a letter to Israelis abroad and our brethren, the Jews of the diaspora, opinion. It is an opinion, but it's accurate. I don't have the date, but it's the J-Post. The 4 horsemen are riding, and they're forcing the Jews back home. Don't watch and stand on the streets waiting for these things to occur. So, therefore, specifically during this historic week, I would call on Israelis who have lived overseas for years, who have recently relocated to the UK, Barcelona, Madrid, Cyprus, Amsterdam, Thailand, the United States, and elsewhere. Come home. Go home, people. Go home. So, Abraham Accords is going to push things forward and force people to want to move home because it will give peace to Israel. I'll show you the verses, don't worry. Exclusive, Witkoff. Big energy for Abraham Accords expansion. 4 to 6 countries may join in the next couple of months. There's big energy, Witkoff said. Okay, that's Breitbart. That's recent. The date, 13th of May, that's recent enough. Okay, it's probably better today. Witkoff, again, big energy. He expects it likely expansion of the Abraham Accords in a matter of months, not years. This could kick off by the fall, people. We could have a big agreement, an increase, a givor, as I would state, okay, of strengthening of this. That's from Daniel 9:27. Abraham Accords expand. This is me. Are they strengthening? That's the way it would be stated in Daniel 9:27. And then below it, Rapid Response 47, Witkoff, one of the president's key objectives is that the Abraham Accords be expanded, increased, strengthened, whatever. We think we're going to have some pretty big announcements on countries, and this is just recent here, okay? So Witkoff is saying it's going to occur. Then on the right-hand side, this is Ynet. Trump envoy hints at new countries joining Abraham Accords, and I'm quoting Daniel 9:27, and he has strengthened or increased a covenant for many for one period of the 7, a week of years, and in the midst, at the midpoint of the 7, he causes the sacrifice and the present to cease, and by the wing of the abominations he is making desolate, even until the consummation on that which is determined is poured out on the desolate one. There you go. So that's me citing other things, but especially 9:27 from Daniel. Okay, the verses. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes on them, as travail on a woman with child. There you go. It's there, right in your face, okay? But Ezekiel talks about it more interestingly. You will say, I am going to invade the land of unwalled villages. I will take by surprise these people who are at peace, living securely, all in places without walls, bars, or gates. I will seize the spoil and take the plunder. You will attack the former ruins that are now inhabited and come against the people gathered from the nations. Ezekiel 38:11 and 12. You're going to say, well, they have bars and gates. No, they really don't. Not with the new warfare, which is missiles being launched over the top of you. You don't have walls or bars or gates. Read Zechariah 2:5, and you'll see that God, our Father in heaven, is literally their firewall. That's what's going on. And so then it all makes sense. In the middle here, our vision is of peace, security, and prosperity. Donald Trump. That's prophetic. Okay, so, but on the bottom, I state, based on how I read Wilkerson and Dutamman, it seems like logistics need to occur before World War III. Even though everyone is screaming World War III is at our doorstep, no, the logistics are you need to push the Jews home now. Okay, yes, the four horsemen are doing so. They're kicking it up. So now we'll get into the prophecy side. I'm going to cover the Meloha Goyim. So once again, Melo is fullness, Ha is the, Goyim is the Gentiles, plural. Okay, so we'll read from Genesis 48:17 through 20. And when Joseph saw that his father was laying his right hand on Ephraim's head, it displeased him. And he lifted up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head and place it instead on Manasseh's head. Joseph said to his father, don't do it that way, my father, for this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand, so it's a cross-handed blessing. Put your right hand on it, and he starts maneuvering the hands. But his father refused and said, I know that, my son, I know it. He too will become a people, and he too will be great. Nevertheless, his younger brother will be greater than he, and his descendants will grow into many nations. That's Meloha Goyim. That's the phrase. That's the first time. That's where you have, that interesting blessing, okay? And so then he added the blessing, and this is Jacob, of course. Israel will speak of you in their own blessings and say, may God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. Thus he put Ephraim ahead of Manasseh. So we're getting to this fullness of the Gentiles, and I'll try to explain what I think it is, okay? And so I would say the time of the Gentiles is ending, and we'll show you the verses, not the verses, we'll show you the prophecy from Dutamman that seems to state it very, very well. For brothers, I want you to understand this truth, which God formerly concealed, but now has revealed, so that you won't imagine you know more than you actually do. It is that stoniness, to a degree, that has come upon Israel until the Gentile world enters its fullness. That's the Meloha Goyim. Okay, this is Romans 9. Just memorize Romans 9 through 11, the whole 3 chapters. But the stoniness has come until the Meloha Goyim, and that is in the way that all Israel will be saved, as the Tanakh says. So all of the all. Okay, that's what we would state with kol, the Hebrew word kol. All of the all. Out of Zion will come the Redeemer. He will turn away ungodliness from Yaakov and will be my covenant with them. And this will be my covenant with them when I take away their sins. Romans 11:25 through 27. So it's very interesting to watch the Aliyah occurring. They have to go back home. This is setting up the second Exodus. Now, there's one more time. There's a third time. Okay, it's Luke 21:22 through 24. For these are the days of vengeance. That's what's coming, people. When everything that has been written in the Tanakh, which is the whole Old Testament, will come true. What a terrible time it will be for pregnant women and nursing mothers, the birth pangs. For there will be great disasters in the land and judgment on the people. Some will fall by the edge of the sword, others will be carried into the countries of the Goyim, and Jerusalem will be trampled down by the Goyim until Meloha Goyim, until the age of the Goyim has run its course. There you go. So the four horsemen are causing this. The Aliyah is an answer. It's time to go home. The blessing, that cross-handed blessing, is occurring 3 different times in the Bible, and I just showed it to you. It should explain what's going on with Meloha Goyim, but I'll do even more. I'll give you some Demetri Dudam, and it'll make sense. Sorry the video is running late, but here you go. It was hard for me to sleep that night. I prayed a lot. When I finally slept, I had a dream. I was in a valley with mountains around it. Someone yelled at me, "Run and hide, rain is coming." I thought, I'm not afraid of the rain. I looked around and could not see anyone. Then I heard peals of thunder. A powerful bolt of lightning passed right by me. Out of it came 2 beings. They asked if I was afraid. I said, yes. They asked if I knew who they were. I said, no. They said, we are heavenly beings. That's the name of this video from 1991. We are heavenly beings. Their clothes were white as snow. They had eyes which were penetrating. There was a light in them so bright that I could hardly look at them. Their hair was white as wool, and it was long, going down to their backs. All of them had a book, or one of them had a book, and the other had an inkwell attached to his belt, a large pen in his hand. There was an eraser on one end. The one person with the pen, the one with the pen, I was sent to complete the book of the Gentiles, the Meloha Goyim aspect. Do you want to see your names? I looked and I saw all the names of my family were written there, and they were circled. I asked why they were circled. He said, the devil doesn't like what you do and fights powerfully against all that you do. I've circled your name so that it'll give you extra protection. He opened the book and counted 4 remaining blank pages at the end. 4 remaining. Just put that to your memory. 4 blank pages at the end. This is 1991. When those are filled, he said, the book of the Gentiles, the Meloha Goyim, will be complete. Then I will return to my people. Some of the names that are listed here will be erased. I will erase the names of those who have mocked God and tested the Spirit of grace. I will replace them with other names. I started to ask what the 4 pages meant, but before I could ask the meaning, he thrust the pen into the inkwell as though slipping a sword into a scabbard. As he did, there was much tremendous thunder and lightning, and then I fell down. Then I woke up. Okay, so that was the first one of the Gentiles. But now he comes back in 1993 and has 3 pages of this. So stick with me. It gets better. On the 6th of November, I had a dream. And as usual, I prayed and said, if this is a dream of you, let me dream it one more time. Then on the night of the 7th, God gave me the dream once again. In my dream, I heard a great commotion. As I looked, I saw a thick black cloud coming from this great darkness, a man riding on the back of a dragon. The man was Lucifer, the Satan. He was yelling as loud as he could, we're coming to make war against the holy. That's Revelation 13, 7 through 10. We come to be victorious over the holy. We will beat the holy. Victory is ours. Then I saw men, women and children yelling, terrified, and running. I saw others whom I knew were Christians getting on their knees praying, Lord, save us. Lord, give us victory, the victory. Send your glory. Save our lives, Lord. Don't let us down. This is the battle when the devil wants to defeat us. As everyone was kneeling and praying, suddenly I heard the devil saying, grab him. I then realized he was referring to me. I tried to run, but I could not because my feet hurt, so I started walking. But from behind, I heard the voice, which continued to yell, grab him, let us tie him in chains because he has caused me much destruction. When I thought that they would grab me, all the people of God, though scared, began to cry out, Jesus, Jesus. Continuing on from the same book of the Gentiles, suddenly I saw the black cloud disappear. The 2 men dressed in shining clothes appeared. They were gigantic size because I remember I could not see their heads too well. They both spoke with thundering voices. Do not fear. Christ is the victor. Each of them had a book in his hands. The books, each the size of a table, were covered with gold thread. Then the two men put the books down on a great table and spoke to me, saying, Open and read. I opened the first book and was told, This is the book of life. That's actually in the Bible, people. The man on the left said, Whoever finds his name in the book will be saved. Then he said, Open the second book. The word said the book of the Gentiles was scrawled on it. I opened it and began to turn page after page, upon which I saw all kinds of different names written. Then I reached the end of the book. I found that there were 1 3/4 pages left blank. So not much left, unwritten, okay? Then one of the two men said to me, when the total number of the Gentiles, I'm stating that seems like Meloha Goyim, is completed, the writing in this book will be finished. At that time, what I have shown you will happen. It is then that the beast will try to do battle against the holy. That's once again Revelation 13, 7 through 10. Remember what I tell you. Be prepared. Live a holy life. And do not think that you have much time to live on the earth. Jesus is soon returning. Then I began to hear a choir singing, Jesus is returning, Jesus is returning. Be prepared and be holy. Be ready, for the victory shall be his. When I looked, there was a choir of angels. Their voice echoed stronger and stronger, Jesus is returning. Okay, so to finish this out, while they were singing, the table of the books was lifted up, and the two men spoke. One of us is the angel of the Gentiles, and the other is the angel of the people of Israel. Do not be afraid. Seek the Lord now. Time is very short. As you saw, the armies of Satan advancing. This is how it will happen. Then the two men were lifted up. I looked around to see what was happening. Everyone was crying, but they were tears of joy. Victory was ours. Then another choir of angels appeared, which began to sing, Jesus the Savior wants to save his people, but those who have blasphemed and cursed him, but not those, okay? Only those who have lived a clean life and fought for Jesus without holding on to his life, but giving it all to Christ. The angels once again began to sing with all sorts of instruments. They sang so beautifully. While the choir of angels sang, a garden of indescribable beauty appeared. It was very big, and there were all kinds of flowers that gave off lovely fragrance. The smell of the flowers was strong and was almost making me dizzy. At every corner of the garden, there was an angel with a fiery sword, which he swung around. I tried to go in and see what was in the garden. Then I was stopped and told, no foot of an earthly man is allowed to enter here. Only the holy will enter, okay? And that would be Tahor. It is, it's Kedoshim, technically, or Kedosh. But it's not your time to enter. Now, when you are called, that is when you will enter. Now go back. The angel spun the sword before me, and this frightened me. Then another choir of angels, the size of children, appeared, holding hands. They began to sing, Jesus is returning. Wake up, people. Be holy, for your salvation is Jesus. He is victorious. Their voices, their song, echoed glorious splendor. And while they continued to sing, I heard a loud noise. Everything disappeared, and I awoke. So that's once again the Book of the Gentiles from 1993. And you can find that on Hand of Help. Dig around. It's good stuff. I saw a beast come up from the sea. This is the Revelation 13, 7 through 10 that I cited. It, the beast, was allowed to make war on God's holy people and to defeat them, and it was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. Everyone living on the earth will worship it, except those whose names are written in the book of life belonging to the Lamb slaughtered before the world was founded. Those who have ears, let them hear. If anyone is meant for captivity, into captivity he goes. If anyone is to be killed by the sword, with the sword he shall be killed. This is when God's holy people must persevere and trust. That's coming up, people. Okay, so the beast is coming, but we have the power to fight back in Yeshua. And so don't you see the similarities between Dudaman's words and this? Yeah, matches. Okay, so the beast is coming. Which beast? What mark of the beast? What image of the beast? Probably by 2032 it's coming. Massive robotic proliferation by probably 2027. It's going to start happening by that time. AI singularity due by 2032. And drones and other things like that. Ozone depletion, micronova and pole flip by 2040, maybe sooner. Mass depopulation by wars and insanity. Economic inflation woes. Fall of Western civilization. Third world. Food, crop failures, water issues, narcissistic and stupid politicians. Jewish Aliyah, second Exodus. And there will be a peace, but it'll be based on mammon. So just get ready for these things to sink in, okay? And Elon knows what's going on about the belly of the beast, but he's not really telling us everything. And I'm saying that the lily will be part of these things going forward. But you need these logistics to occur first and more. So to end it out here, I'll let you pause this and read it for yourself. But basically, Peter Thiel is saying, I think about the Antichrist. I talk about the Antichrist. He will offer, he'll talk about Armageddon, and he'll offer to save them, okay? Like Yeshua save, okay? So it's just interesting. Just pause it and read it for yourself. Or go to the video from Hoover Institution and view it. It's very interesting. It's about 40 minutes, 50 minutes, but it's well done. He's basically saying, he's talking Antichrist and Armageddon better than I do. Okay, which is weird because he's just not that type of guy, but he's obviously well read. He was raised as a Christian. He's a libertarian in many ways. He's a billionaire, obviously, but he's building the beast. Okay, and he knows what it means. But the slogan of the Antichrist is peace and safety, and there's nothing wrong with peace and safety. He knows the plan. Okay, so I'm leaving Prophecy Roundtable. I think Trump is part of prophecy, and I'm not a never Trumper. And the other guy is never Jews, and I'm getting really sick and tired of that. So I'm leaving. It's going to be Blackboard Talks Prophecy on Wednesday nights. If everything works out, please pray for me. That'll start July 2nd, hopefully. And so, yeah, it's just talking. We're just going to talk, okay? And it's not going to be, I can't. It's not going to be horrible like last Thursday night was just horrible. Okay, where are we? We're in the birth pangs. Probably the seals are not all of the seals are open, but the 4 seals are open, and we're getting closer. Okay, and the first 4, obviously. Tribulation after that, the Great Tribulation after that. Peace and safety is happening right now. You work on you and your family. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. During some year, you'll need clean garments. You can't be naked. It's a wedding. Get ready for that. Be blessed. Thank you very much for your time. Oh my, this was a long one. Thank you very much for your time. Be blessed.